So today we're going to be looking at fullbacks, and to be honest, this year there is a very easy pattern with fullbacks. Is most of them at the top end are pretty usable, which is always nice, but there is obviously some better than others. We have got a few that obviously now at this point, like we look at Furlan, Mendy and Walker, they kind of started this trend, and realistically, if you've followed it, you probably are doing pretty well with them, to be honest. When we do look across the board, if we go over to Mendy, for instance, I know we have just had a brand new left back, Evo, but if we look across the board with him now, even at this point, right this second, we can get him at 88. But realistically, from the many upgrades that we've had over the past, 3, 4, 5 months now, you could have probably got him to at least a 90 very, very comfortably. Like even if we went 87 and then we jumped up, say we went 89, you'd been able to get him up to an 89 there, and more than likely if I did a different pattern, you'd have been able to do a 90, maybe even a 91 at some point, because when we look at his 90 right now, you can actually upgrade that by 1 also. So we can obviously take his lovely 90 grassroots, which was an SBC, and upgrading 1 more right now. So if you're looking for coins, check in the description for Eldorado. Depending on the coin amount that you're looking for, the delivery time is displayed on the website, and you'll see lots of different trusted sellers with reviews on specifics, and also the ability to be able to pick who you want. It will also show how much they have in stock, and obviously you can see that they are verified members. There is 100% refund ability and also 24/7 support if you need any questions with your coin needs. Also, if you head over to Trustpilot as well, you can see over 30,000 upvotes for them. You can see how reliable they are. Obviously great feedback across the entire board with Eldorado. So when on checkout, make sure you are using the code JT11 for 5% off your order every time. Discount code JT11. Now let's get back to the video. Now, obviously, when it comes to Walker, you've got a couple of options, because more than likely you would have started with the Man City version. Now, obviously, that one's going to be a little bit more pricey because it's very hard to get, but we do have an AC Milan version, and we do have at the moment just a Walker version in the Man City for the 91 in the numero foot. So at the minute, that is the best Walker card. I would still suggest that both of these cards are very Evo friendly, kind of like Teo. Now, Teo is outrageously good this year. Like they really did stockpile him massively. When you look at a card like this at 220,000 coins, at this point in the game, like quite literally, if you go into players right now, we'll go into versions and go down to the golds, all golds, and we'll look at pricing. We are looking at the second highest price player. Now, obviously, he's gone up a little bit of a price because of the left back Evo. But you think, even regardless, that is incredible that there is only 3 players above 100,000. Mbappe, which I think is pretty obvious. Vinny, which again, you'd probably argue is quite obvious. And Theo Hernandez. It really does show the levels this year. Hernandez is clear of absolutely everybody in that left back role. So obviously the gold is going to go up there, the inform is going to do the same, and the 89 is also going to do the same. Now, I don't think any of these Evos or any of these versions can actually go into the Evo we got this week, because he has got 95 pace, but he has had previous Evos that you could have put the 87 in. You could have got him up a few levels by now already. 89, I think there was a 90. Don't know what rated mine is. Mine is currently the left back, but you could even Evo the 88 and more than likely the 89 very, very soon. Which kind of leaves us for the left backs of who do you really go with? When we look at the likes of Robinson, we look at Rosalion, we have a bit of Robinson and Robertson. Okay, just going to give myself a challenge on a Wednesday morning. Robertson might be one that you might want to Evo, because you've got to look at some people and think, okay, well, if I'm building a Liverpool team, he's going to be one of the better left backs you can get. Is he going to have another upgrade anytime soon? Maybe footies, you could go with something, but realistically, he's going to be an Evo. There's going to be very few times that Robertson's going to get an upgrade, unless Liverpool, I suppose eventually when they do win the Premier League, whether they do anything with the Liverpool squad could be a potential. When we look at someone like Robinson, Again, right now, I'd probably say miss because realistically, the nation's not major. So obviously, it's not going to be English, it's not going to be Spanish. So you're going to have different links there. But then also, are you going to go with a Prem fullback that is not necessarily somebody in the higher teams? And I could be wrong. I might be wrong. But in general, there is so many options. You've already got to kind of go against Teo. The likely chances, are you upgrading Robertson to a 90 to a 91 over a Teo Hernandez, over a Robertson, over then someone like a Delo going in left back, and more than likely there is quite a few more in the kind of things. I think Kerkeres is a left back as well, which is another great option. I think Delo could be an Evo, but even him, very much both of these are going to be very specific to being a major team that people will Evo. It's like running a Leeds team or Sunderland or like an Accrington Stanley Evo team where that is all you're doing. You may choose a couple of meta ones, but that is, if you can get one of your players from your teams in, they are going straight in. So that is kind of what you're looking at really for them. Guerrero at this point, Rosalion, more than likely bog standard. Zambrotta, I think you could still get a use out. To be honest, you could get a few more Evos from him. But, I mean, you could obviously go ahead and get him into the... I suppose it would be the enter stage left. Could you go in that one? You got bomb forward, but then you could get him up to a 92. So I suppose you could obviously just go straight into that, or go into, obviously, the birthday finale into the enter stage left as well. Obviously, the birthday finale does, I believe, give the left back role as well, or something like that. So, again, maybe I could go with more of the Evo, but I think he is very usable. We look at the likes of Thuram. I think with now looking at the top options of fullbacks, you look at Thuram, Cafu, Alberto, Roberto Carlos. They're all very, very good on their base forms, but they need the upgrade as well. Like, we look at, obviously, Cafu versus his team of the year. We look at Alberto versus the winter wildcard. Roberto Carlos versus, I want to say, is it FUT Birthday? Team of the year. I can't remember which one he got, to be honest. I thought he's had a more recent one. But regardless, you've kind of got that bump up in class. And I think that is where you need it. Like, all of them are incredible fullbacks. Bar from Zanetti, I really don't like him. Cole, you might be able to get some use out of. But then when you look at the bigger upgrade, we see the Roberto Carlos's at 890. We see then Thuram is thunderstruck. It was Thuram that got the upgrade. Thuram's obviously got this version now. It was this one that I was thinking of. I really liked the 90. Now we're still running the 88 Thuram that's had an upgrade from... I can't remember what it is. I think it was Iconic Rise or something like that, where it got him to a 90. So it basically made him into this 90, which is incredible in itself. And I think that is kind of the question really is, who's going in the icon side? And I think when you look at a lot of these top end, they are obviously going into either the very usable or they're going into the monster class. Lahm, I mean, you could possibly... See, for me personally, I'm going to still stick with it. I mean... Maybe you could get a bit of use out of him as right back, more than Zanetti in my opinion, but I do prefer him in the midfield. Lahm in a CDM role is perfect. It works effortlessly, but to be fair, we could do with a bit of an upgrade. Which then leaves us with a lot of players, to be honest. There is quite a few that have had upgrades. Obviously, when we look at the team of the year, I don't think there's any real question around them. We've obviously got ourselves Lucy Bronze, we've got Carvalhal. I always get them two mixed up. But in general, they did really well with them. I think centre-back wise, it was only really Paredes that didn't really stick. And then maybe someone like Shaw that was okay, but not crazy. I think everybody else in Team of the Year is actually still pretty relevant. I've actually not seen their prices in some time. Sakino or Karchawi has been outrageously good, and you can see they are starting to be kept up. I think Grimaldo's got to be a little bit cheaper, and then I can imagine Bronze has got to be the cheapest out of all of them. 360, and then there could make... I mean, Carvajal could be the top. I mean, that's incredible. You could probably write that one, to be fair. But in general, I think all of them are very, very good. Obviously, I personally would go, if I was to pick out of the four, I'd go Karchawi and Carvajal. I like Grimaldo, but he's definitely more for an attacking wingback style. I'm more fullback, but then that's why I go Teo. Like, he can do both. I've got the Evo where he's got the fullback plus, but he's also got the attacking wingback plus. Now, if we go and rattle through a few more, then Alaba... He has had another upgrade recently. He did get the 93, which I think I've put in. I'd probably then say you could have evoed him, but I'd say probably not. Maicon, I really like his base. Now, his base is going to get into some Evos very soon, but he does have a double version now. He's obviously got himself the one that you could have got for, what was it? It's like 30 champs wins or something like that, or 45 champs wins. It was, oh no, it was the cup, weren't it? 30 cup wins out of like 36, which was just very difficult. At this point, I'm still not mad that we missed that. Then obviously you've got the two different versions that will be evoed. I'd probably say he's coming into more of a He's probably coming into a usable standpoint on the 88, probably more closer to the Evo, really. And then you do have the 90 somewhere. I don't know if we've moved it. I'll find it in a second. But we also have the 93. The Prime Heroes, honestly, they just blend in. We'll still find them. But realistically, the Prime Hero more than likely would just go into the very usable. And then the 93 would definitely go into the meta still. But even then, I'd say you could possibly go without him. Lazarazu, I'd miss this version now. Same over here. I really liked him to start with, but you'll see again, most people have kind of gone into the mud now, really. You could get a few Evos, and I could put pretty much all of these in as an Evo player, but realistically, you've got to be choosing over Mendy, Walker, Teo, plenty of icons now as they get into the 90s. It's just not going to happen. There's going to be a lot of misses in this list now because we've not kind of emptied almost the lower rated. Not many people are running an 85 or 86 left back. Estepinha, again, another nice one on an Evo, but you've got to put him in there. Maybe Navas, you've got to think of players that are not going to get another upgrade, or at least a player that's got a bit of a merit to his name, like Jesus Navas, is an incredible one. Obviously, if you're looking at kind of the Carvajal links there, incredible in terms of what he can do, and with an Evo would be really nice. The Brighton lad would be a really nice Evo and is definitely in more of a shout at this point, but realistically, it's got to be a player that is potentially going to get Evo'd. Nuno Mendes, at this point now, would be in a great Evo, same as Kimmich, but they've got a better upgrade, so you're already taking them that next level up. Beasley, I'd drop out. Gusto, maybe, just because he's already got himself the Rapid Plus. I don't think he's got anything more. He's got the 88. He didn't get the double upgrade. I don't think there is one at the minute. But obviously, you could go into the birthday finale if you really wanted to. Only gets the pass and dribbling, but plenty of Evos that are going to be coming as well. Pedro Porro, I think you could get some use out of him. Same as Rolfo. There's a lot of people that really like Lavelli. I personally don't. Gossens can go into there. I think you could get a bit out of Karchawi there. You've obviously got a bit of Kayunde's doing pretty well. Munoz, I'd probably leave out now. Olga, kind of in the usable maybe. I don't know if you'd possibly go with the Evo. Maybe if you're trying to build a Liga F Real Madrid ladies team that could work, or Liga F in general. Frimpong he's had the worst run in this game. It's honestly been horrendous. He obviously got himself this Team of the Year honourable mentions. He did have the road to the knockout, but he's just not had it. Compared to last year, last year was outrageous, like one of the best years for him. Like, you look at that run from an inform, obviously, Thunderstruck, Team of the Year, Team of the Season, into footies, and I kind of get looking at it, it's probably not the greatest because you're kind of thinking, but this version of him was still so good in game, it was incredible. Obviously the year before we had the Team of the Season, Player of the Month, kind of getting into the notice of him, but in general, I cannot wait to hopefully get some sort of Team of the Season with him, if he's even in deserving of it. I actually don't know, but in general, this one just needs something because he's very, very bog standard. Militao, I mean, to be honest, wherever he goes, he's going to do pretty well. Danilo, I'd possibly go into an Evo. I think he's got a chance being at Juve. Hato, exactly the same as well. He was a very good shout into the Evo that we saw yesterday. We obviously have it as enter stage left. If you look at the popular, you might see a few now that have dropped out of it, but you'll see quite a few. Kirkes looking very, very nice as well. We have another Munoz, we're just going to whack him in the bottom. Jan Kuto, I mean, Dortmund fans, you're probably not Evoing him. Maybe, could you get a bit of use? I don't think you'd even get use out of him, to be honest. No, you probably can't. Miguel's going to be the exact same. McManaman, you could. I think he's still got a little bit of kicking in him, but again, he's going to be one that you've probably now kind of gone away from. You've got the dream hero for him. or the Dream Chaser, in fact, the Dream Chaser hero that you can put as a right mid, left mid cam, or right wing, so he has lost that right back position. So maybe you wanted to evo that one just in case you wanted to change the team up a little bit. Lucas, you'd probably be waiting for an evo for him. Bradley's definitely one that you'd get in there. Gwyn, no. Anton, no. Dumfries, would you evo him? I mean, he's a good player, he's got a great name, but I just don't think he's going to be in there. Baudet, I think you could get some use out of. I mean, Dumfries, could you? I don't think he'd need too much of an evo, and he was very, very good prior to this. Like, I mean, he's still 350. Unfortunately, it does come down to the playstyle pluses, but I do think Dumfries might still kick with something, in my opinion. Like, he's going to be decent enough. Boy, very good as well. Obviously, Camavinga, I would personally prefer him as a CDM, but as a left back, I still think he's got some use out of him. I don't like Cuadrado this year. I just don't think he is. DeMarco, I think personally, if you're looking at him, you've obviously got his 90 as a very usable, but his 93 is incredible. The amount of times I actually see him. I'd say Cancelo's dropping into the usable, more than likely going into kind of the Evo standard at some point soon. Walker goes up into the top. I'd say the same for Davis as well. I really like that 94. It put him back on the map a little bit, which was nice because he kind of, not necessarily that he fell off, he kind of just didn't have an upgrade really. He kind of just didn't kind of compete with the base version. His base gold was already so much lower, it needed something else with him. Nuno Mendes, I'd go into more usable. I think he's okay. Kimmich, very usable. Batcher this year, not as much. Capdevia is an incredible option. If you're looking for a Teo replacement and want a high rated without evoing, he's going to be a pretty good one. Obviously, then you've got Trent, you've got Alaba. I quite like Ben White. I think he's got a bit of a shout. He's kind of in there more for the fact that he could get the upgrade. I think if he stayed like this, I think he'd probably be better off as a centre-back, to be honest. But I think he could be a very usable right back, maybe with a bit more of an upgrade. Mendy, now with the Evo, would definitely put himself back on that map. Rolfo goes up. McCabe's more usable. Vasquez is incredible. And, I mean, you can say the card himself is always very good in general, but the fact that you've got a very, very good chance of him going up there as well into the topper ends, I mean, you've got yourself a potential gold mine, depending on how far they truly go. Lazarazu's very good. Baku would go into there. Silver, I'd be very clutching straws. Same with Yuri, to be honest. They're kind of just there on merit at this point now. Even Sergio Roberto, I mean, is he really going to go into many people's teams? Unless you're kind of going for a specific, like, Barca vibe, I'd probably miss out on him, to be honest. It's a bit unfortunate. Like, maybe if you wanted to go for the Evo for the Barca vibes, then yes, but in a general consensus, he's not really going to go anywhere, is he? Kirkes is got to be like top of the list. That is a beautiful card that will go up very, very well. Florenzi and Doherty will do the exact same. Digne, I mean, very much like White, he's got a bit of ability in him, but he needs something more. And I think, no, it's not today. I was going to say, I didn't think it was today. Yeah, it's going to be soon for the next rounds of the Champions League, but it isn't just yet. Obviously, Angelino's going in there, and Da Costa, he doesn't have that same effect. But that's going to be everybody for the left back, right backs. Let me know down below who is yours at the moment. There is a lot to choose from. Let me know who your parent is. Peace. Make sure you subscribe.